Hey everybody, it's Karen with Food and Family. I'm starting my dinner. Now, what I'm cooking today, I know there's a lot of people doesn't like. My husband and I do. And I'm cooking liver and onions. I'm going to have rice and gravy with it and some green peas. So it doesn't take long to cook the liver. So I've got my oil heating up in my pan and I've got some water boiling. Well, starting to boil back here for our rice. I'm going to start some green peas. And we love green peas. And yeah, these taste so fresh. They're like you just went out in the garden and picked them. And we get just a smidge of water. Don't need much. And I'm going to put some butter. I'm seasoning it with butter, and I'll put a little bit of salt in it, and that should do it. I like the taste of the peas. Now, okay, so I've got my liver. Now I've got it washed really well, and I'm going to put some salt and some pepper on it. Then we're going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. But we're going to make a gravy, and y'all know how much we like gravy. Gravy's good on that rice. So I've got some flour here, and I think I'm going to put a little bit of salt in my flour. I've seasoned the meat, but I want to salt the breading. Why not? So we can start breading this, flouring it, and just set it aside. It just sounded good doing this and some rice and some peas. Oh yes, yes, that's sizzling, just perfect. It does not take long to cook this, but don't crowd your pan like with any other meat you want to cook. Don't crowd your pan. And let's get a platter to put it on when we take it up, and then we're going to make a gravy. And I think what I'm going to do is after I get this cooked and I make that gravy, then I think I'm going to slip this back in the gravy and let it simmer just a few minutes till Pop Jones gets home. He should be home before long. And okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my onion. Now, when I cook my onion, I don't want it to cook away, so I'm going to cook it about that thickness, but I'm just going to saute it a little bit. And I want some, when I say I want a bite left to it, I just don't want it, I don't want it mushy. And where it's all cooked away, like we would in a soup or a stew. I want to know I've got some onions in this dish. It looks like it might be ready to turn over. Really, it doesn't take long, another minute. So let me get this liver cooked up here, and I'm going to come back in just a few minutes and show you what it's like after it gets done, okay? I'm on the last couple of pieces, and they're almost done, so I am going to go ahead and drop my onion into this oil and let it start to cook. We'll be that much further ahead. So, and when that comes out, we're going to make our gravy. Our rice is done. I think I told you I did the boiling bag rice. I took it easy tonight. And anytime you can use a shortcut, use it. And my peas are done. Peas like that do not take long at all to cook. I put my salt and pepper up, and I need some from onions. I want to season them. We season every layer. Something. I had somebody ask me, this is a really good question. Why do we say up? Like stir it up, boil it up, we're gonna cook it up. I have no clue. I have heard those sayings all of my life, but I've never, it's just always been natural to me. I've never thought about it. So if anybody has an answer to that, please let us know. We'd be interested in hearing it. Yes. No, see, this does not take long to cook. So let's get these onions sauteed around a little bit. Don't get rid of all those bits. Those are so good. And they're good in that gravy. Okay, so I'm going to cook these around just a little bit. See, cook them around, stir them up. I'm going to cook these a little bit, and when I get ready to start my gravy, I'll come back and we'll make it together, okay? All right, these onions have cooked enough for me. They're getting translucent. Now, again, this is something that I'm going to be putting back in the pan when we get our gravy done. So they'll cook a little bit more. Get all of these out, and we're going to make us some good old beef gravy. Now, y'all seen me make gravy so many times, but we're going to do it again today. I've got my oil in here. Now, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour in here. We just want to paste. My whisk, I'm using my silicone whisk that a wonderful subscriber sent me. And I am going to stir it around, stir that flour around. Now, I want just a little bit more flour, I think. Sorry. And again, I keep putting my salt and pepper up, and I need it because we need to salt the gravy, and we'll only put very little salt because we have salt in everything else, but we need pepper in that gravy, and pepper is so good with gravy. Now, I'm going to change one thing just a little bit, and that is I want to add some of this roasted beef base, the Better Than Bouillon roasted beef base to that, and it too is salty. So we're going to try not to get this gravy too salty. And that was about a half a teaspoon. I did not use the whole teaspoon. So let's stir that around. Oh, it's already smelling. Yeah, that stuff is so good. And I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of my brown gravy mix. That's kind of heaping, that y'all know I like. And we're going to stir it around. See, and it starts getting, kind of gets dry and pasty in there. Well, that's what you want right at the moment. And y'all know what else I like to put in my beef gravy, and that's balsamic vinegar. Not but just a drop. Because we do, that's maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. That's just enough to give that little something something that we're looking for. And remember, I've showed you before, if we pour it upside down, it pours so smoothly. The last time I was on the radio show, we talked about this, and there was a lot of people didn't know that. So that's a good tip to bring up when you're pouring broth. So we're going to let this simmer and till we get the consistency we want on this gravy. And if we need to add some more broth, we will. Oh, you can. Ooh, this is so nice. And I think I'm going to have to add a little bit more broth. Just a little bit. Because it's going to keep thickening up. Once I put this meat back in, and it's got that flour, well, it's cooked, but it will still thicken up as this cooks. But you know what? We can always add more broth because we'll keep an eye on this. And as it cooks, we'll check it. And if we need to put some more, we will. Right now is the perfect consistency. Couple of little pieces. See how easy this pigtail flipper is picking up? Now let's look at those onions, how pretty. Let's slide those back in. And any of that juice. We're done with this platter. Done. Let me get a lid while we're talking. Because this will not take long at all to cook. In fact, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. But if I don't get to come back with you, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give it a try. I love it. My husband loves it, and it's really good for you. It is full of all the vitamins that we need. I sure appreciate you joining me today, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I look forward to our time together whenever we're cooking. I feel like you're all here with me. So join me, like, share, and subscribe to my page, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.